Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Lost Eidolons. Now, I had to end the last episode a little bit abruptly because it was getting quite long and there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about but I didn't have time to. So I'd like to start talking about it now. Let's see if I can go back to the cutscenes. Hello game. The game has just been patched. I'm not sure what this means. But this is all... Oh, I know what that is. Yeah, this is all going to turn very nasty. Let's go back a long way. And see... Clara? Oh, right. That was a few chapters ago, wasn't it? Okay, so we can come down past here a bit. It's only a puzzle. So we go back to... Okay, so Abramo. So that's King Abramo. Right. So... Initially we had this war meeting and this was all going fairly well, pretty much standard fare. At the end of the meeting, Ballastar called for two people to stay back. If I can just find that. So, this deals with the enemy commanders, right? Caspar, Eris, and the one we defeated. Now, was this fretting reporting of his section of little further, isn't it? Sorry about this. So, at the end of the meeting, Ballastar called for two people to stay back. And it turned out those two people were Eden and Marshall. Now, initially, I suspected Ballastar was calling back two of his own company, and that they would have a private discussion off camera. But that was not the case. When it became apparent that he was talking to Eden, I thought, oh yes, Eden has been called back for every private conversation so far when someone has been called aside. And in fact, he's been present for every cutscene so far. However, I thought, what could he be talking about? And it was evident that he was in trouble. And I thought, oh, this could be because Ballastar's found out that Eden and Francisco went on a little private mission without Ballastar's permission. So yeah, here we are. Here's Fontaine, Caspar and Eris, their discussion. So it will be around the end of this one. You two, stay a moment. Here we are. So it becomes apparent that he's addressing Marshall. Now here, I might have sarcastically said, oh, has he only just found that out? No, I didn't mean it. I meant that he's only just taking it much more seriously. I imagine Ballastar has known of her imperial past for quite some time. What happens next, where Ballastar tries to get Marshall cast out of the camp, and Eden stands up for her, is interesting. I've seen this kind of situation happen before, in organisations, where people decide, for some petty little reason, they have to get rid of someone. And they will spend month after month after month trying to get rid of someone until they finally do get the person they want out of the organisation. Then they immediately pick someone else and start trying to get rid of them. In my case, someone spent about 6 months trying to get me out of an organisation, and he tried everything he could, and eventually he did, just after the repeated weight of accusations and everything he threw at me, and I don't know what he said. But within a week of getting me out, he decided to get rid of someone else, and that someone else was the boss's best friend. So the boss immediately asked, hey, why is someone trying to say bad things about my best friend and get rid of him. Did a very quick investigation, got rid of the guy who'd got me out. Did I get invited back? No, not a chance in hell. Pretty much everyone in the organisation knew what had happened to me and what I'd been through and sympathised with me, but they weren't going to let me back in. And you know what? It is what it is, right? But Ballastar here seems to be going down the same path, and I thought as soon as he gets rid of Marshall, he'll find someone else, probably Leonard, that he doesn't like and wants to get rid of. At this point, Eden stood up for Marshall and acted as if he had a much higher rapport level with her than we have actually been allowed to gather at all so far, given that I've pretty much maxed out possible rapport gains with her, with the exception of dumping every single gift I've got on her at all. And Eden said he'd take responsibility for Marshall, and Ballastar got nasty about it and was like, yeah, you will be responsible if she does anything bad, right? With the good old "I'll be watching you." Outside the tent, Marshall and Eden spoke fairly openly, and she was actually pretty honest about her past. And it turns out it wasn't far off what I was expecting. The stuff with Prime Minister Morin, who I suspected would be dragged into it as soon as he'd been mentioned by the Old Lord 1 or 2 chapters ago, is a direct plotline for her. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll actually see him later on in the game, but it did tie in directly to her background. So Marshall and Leonard were trying to infiltrate the Inquisition and take down Morin from within using the inquisitorial powers. And she's still pretty shook up about it because her brother was a librarian who was murdered by the Inquisition for looking into something. And it turns out that the Emperor is attempting to extend his life. Now, there was a very famous Chinese emperor who attempted to extend his life through necromancy and had lots of people mixing up potions and practicing rituals. Not because he wanted to keep on living, but because he was afraid that in the afterlife he would meet all the people he had betrayed and done to death and killed off in various numerous ways, and he wanted to stay alive to avoid having to meet them, to prolong the inevitable, as it were. So he was looking for ways to extend his life. Now, this may be hinting that eventually we will get some kind of necromantic enemy later on. I don't think we'll actually see the Emperor as an undead creature at the end of the campaign, because this feels like a more low fantasy story, but it is quite high magic. There's been a very high rate of occurrence of spellcasters so far on the battlefields. So it is still possible that it could go that way. We then went out to battle, and at the start of the battle, Eris taunted Ballastar and he left immediately. But she may have planted a seed of doubt within his mind, stirring that growing paranoia of his and that lack of trust that he is developing. See, Ballastar is now not trusting Marshall because she had ties to the Empire once. But that trust will then grow to Eden because he stood up for Marshall and anyone else, and it will keep on growing to anyone outside his private circle of influence. People within his company are probably relatively safe as long as they agree with him. But he is becoming tyrannical and cruel. And his recent actions at the end of the episode, which I'll get onto a little bit, are going to be quite nasty. And if someone doesn't take him in hand soon and stop him, he will go down a very dark path from which there may be no return. I could very easily see the rest of this game now, from this point onwards, have nothing to do with the Empire at all and be all about the internal struggles of the rebellion as they try to function. Now, Ballastar overrode Eden's authority. Technically, up until fairly recently, Eden and Ballastar have had very similar levels of authority, with Ballastar being only technically higher because he's a member of the Phoenicia family and has family ties. Now, we have had hints earlier of Ballastar's growing oppressive and aggressive nature. his short temper and the way that he likes to use force to get what he wants. Now, at this point, Eris has scurried away and escaped somewhere. Balastar ordered that the soldiers take the castle. Now, at this point, the castle is of no import to us, right? It is, but it isn't. We're trying to stop General Caspar from crossing the river, and stopping here has slowed us down, meaning we need to hurry up to catch General Caspar. The townsfolk occupy the town, and they present little to no threat to the army militarily. As such, we could safely leave them here and go on our way. The only threat the townsfolk pose to the rebellion is that they might let Imperial's troops back into the city to occupy it as soon as we've left, or sometime after we've left, and then there would be an Imperial force behind us, and that would be a problem. It would be the same problem as having Eris's small force behind us. Now, Eris and her army, they didn't need to win the battle. They didn't even need to fight the battle. They just needed to be there in the castle as a threat to make us consider going to fight her. If we didn't go to fight her, she could come out and harass us. We could go there, fight her in the castle once, deal with her, she's done, then go after Caspar. Or we could ignore her, go past her, and deal with her as many times as she likes, as she would carry out a number of hit-and-run attacks on us at night when people are sleeping, when people are supposed to be eating, and it would just demoralise our soldiers. They'd get downhearted and dispirited. They'd be on edge, they'd be twitchy, they wouldn't know when they're safe and when they're not, when they're going to fight. And it would just be a nightmare, and they would not be in their best possible shape to deal with Caspar's force when they met. And she wouldn't even need to come out of the castle and attack, but the threat of her coming out to attack would make our forces uneasy. Now, the townsfolk were openly rebellious against the rebellion. When it was suggested that the other rebels, the Crows, have come through here before and given them a hard time, and somebody asked, now why was that? And Chelsea even asks, are you sure it wasn't Imperial troops in disguise? Oh no, that's the townsfolk, right, so it's a little further down. That prompted me to think maybe there's something in this town that's important to rebellion, and we should work out why the Crows wanted to get in there and find something. Is there something that they're protecting from us that they don't want us to know about? And it turns out, no, they seem to just not want us all in there at all. At this point, Balastar ordered the slaughtering of the townsfolk. He had little reason to do this. We are the free Artemesia from the Empire. Yes, we are a Benarian army. So yes, this is correct. We did not need to describe ourselves as rebels to the townsfolk, because we are operating under King Abramo of Benario, right? We're literally part of his army and are no longer rebels. We're rebelling against the Empire, but that's another thing. The townsfolk were openly hostile and didn't want to help us at all. And then Balastar said, to H-Man, Hector, yes, take a force and seize the castle. Kill all who resist. Even Hector questioned this order. At this point, Balastar is overstepping his authority. Technically, Balastar is below his uncle Isoro, who is below King Abramo, although King Abramo doesn't seem to have really assumed his role of authority and command above Isoro as such. But even so, Balastar was the highest ranking official here. And this order is odd. He orders his men to go in, seize the castle, and essentially quell the rebellious townsfolk. Stop the fighting, sort it out, so that we can move on and get on our way. He doesn't need to leave people here to occupy the castle, and as we know, we don't need to keep the castle occupied anyway, just as Caspar didn't need Eris to occupy the castle. At this point, Ballastar is beginning to see anyone who's not part of the army as an enemy. He's beginning to see anyone who's not part of his personal group, his little clique, as enemies. And when Eden spoke out against Ballastar, begging him not to do this, and saying, if you slaughter these people, we're just as bad as the Empire was standing up against, Ballastar turned on him and almost had him executed on the spot. He threatened to have him killed. This is not good at all. And then he carried out the order. I do not know if Eden's men were forced to take part in the slaughter. Now, when Francisco said, I should bring this up, right? When Francisco said, I suggest you get out of my brother's way or you won't be waking up tomorrow, and Chelsea said, how perfect. When Chelsea said, finally we can finish what we started, she doesn't mean killing off innocent townspeople. In the original, no longer included cutscene, where Chelsea met Eden's group, she barged into Francisco's shoulder, walking past, and he turned round like he was going to get into a fight with her. And, she started mouthing off, and then Ballastar turned up, and, the whole situation calmed down. I think she's referring to the fact that Francisco had been bragging about beating up General Isoro's strongest soldiers to show how strong he was, and that she'd almost got him to start a fight in front of superior officers, which would have got him into trouble. So she's basically, that's a threat. She's saying she enjoys the prospect of Francisco, angry, annoyed, not thinking straight, trying to attack her so that she can then be violent towards him and get everyone else to stand up on her side. Elias does warn Eden that he's verging on insubordination, so he is very close to breaking orders, being disobedient, but he's very discreetly saying here, the decision isn't mine to make. He's saying, I don't agree with what Ballastar is doing, but I have the wisdom to not speak out against him here. Now, the cutscene of the slaughter that followed really got to me, actually. It got my heart pumping, and it got me feeling emotionally involved with these characters and thinking, what has Ballastar done now, the terrible state he's going to be in? And that was really good. The recent season of House of the Dragon on the television, I watched the first episode, and in the first episode, there was a scene where a guard captain gave a speech to his guards about how there's been a lot of criminals in town recently and we're going to go round them all up tonight. And then they went out and butchered everyone they could find. Just literally murdering people in the street. And it was done for shock value. And it didn't really work. It was gratuitous. And the show hadn't really earned it. There was no build-up. We didn't know these characters. We didn't know their motivation or anything. It was just, okay, he's going to go out and kill a load of people now. And then it immediately jumped. So that first episode tried to have 3 or 4 major shock value moments, none of which really worked because they weren't given the weight and emphasis that they deserved as it was constantly moving on to the next one. They were trying to cram too much into the first episode and it didn't work. In this case, I would like to say I respect the writers of this game for making me care about these characters enough that this scene worked for me. And I wanted to say all of that at the end of the very last episode, but hey, I was sleepy, it was late, and I basically looked at the clock and said to myself, I won't have time to record the next episode tonight in light of the things I have to do tomorrow in the morning. So I had to wait till tonight to do this, and I was just hoping I could remember all of those things. We've been brought back into camp, and this is not Eden's tent. Eden's tent is way back over there. We have been placed near Ballastar's tent, with the objective, go to Ballastar's tent. We also have a number of sub-objectives. There are new people in camp. We have Dane, a man who claims to be a healer, and we had instructions to go meet some people, we would like to go to the prestige quest board, do some prestige quests. However, if any of you think that by going to Balastar's tent, we're going to have a go at him and put him in his place, you are all sorely mistaken. Balastar is angry. He lashes out against anyone who seems to question his authority. Going into his tent could be a very bad thing. It could end with Eden being arrested or kicked out of the camp. So the question is, do I want to do everything else first? I mean, if I go there, he could kick Marshall out the camp, or do anything, right? He's being irrational. And we want to do side quests. We got Salma, the rare goods merchant, here. So I want to imagine that any extreme actions that would result in characters being forced to leave will occur when we press Q to finish camp. Because apart from the very early first times in camp, we've always been able to finish up all our business in camp before we leave. So I will go straight to Balastar's tent. But if it does mean a whole load of stuff gets cut off and I don't get to do it, then I will probably reload and replay this. Now, it is with a heavy heart that I approach Balastar's tent. I imagine there may be heated words, and also there's something here that I blatantly want to read, so let's do that at least. The Four Little Beasts, the Seagwolf Family Archives. Long ago, when the world was unfinished, there was a garden by the sea. In this garden there lived 4 little beasts: tiger, turtle, phoenix, and dragon. I have made you a home and a family, said their creator. Now keep each other company while I finish putting this all together. Although each little beast was different, their strengths complemented one another. Tiger, swift as the wind, provided food. Turtle, steadfast as the sea, provided shelter. Phoenix, bold as fire, provided protection. Dragon, mighty as the storm, bound them all together with a promise to always protect one another. So yeah, almost like the Oriental dragons, who are... Right, Western dragons are a personification of greed. Eastern dragons are more of a personification of generosity and good-naturedness. Overall, that's a massive generalization. Although in the case of Western dragons, the personification of greed really actually is a very, very accurate generalization. And for a time it was good. But as the ages passed, the 4 little beasts got too comfortable and began to question their need for one another. Small arguments erupted into terrible fights. Before long, the whole garden was filled with their scratching and clawing and roaring and biting. Their creator was furious. I told you to look after one another. Just look at the mess you've made. The 4 little beasts looked around and realized they'd destroyed the whole garden. We're sorry, said the tiger. We didn't mean to, said Tortoise. Dragon started it, mumbled Phoenix. Dragon said, can you fix it? No, said the creator, and with a clap of their hands buried the 4 little beasts underground. Let that be a lesson to you. Okay, that is for 4 little beasts, not the 3. I was like, would one of them be destroyed? Okay, so that tells us something about how the noble people of this world think, the kind of stories their children will have heard growing up. This is likely to be a very unpleasant conflict. Yellow, I see Rosalina here. Let's see what she's up to. Ooh, there's a soldier there. He might say, Balastar doesn't want to see you now. And I can imagine us going in there. And, again, if you think we're going to say, Balastar, how dare you act like that? No, it'll be more likely to be Balastar saying, I saved your life. I shared drink with you. How do you betray my trust like that? I trusted you, you bastard. It's not going to be good for Eden. Rosalina's here. Let's see what she can say. I have nothing to say to you at the moment. That can't be good. Yeah. This is all along the lines of Eden being disciplined rather heavily. So what could happen? I mean, he could be chucked out. He could be imprisoned. That's the most likely thing. Or openly punished in front of all his men. He could be cast out, like, go away, I don't need you here, I'll carry on without you. Like, Eden and his company leave the Benarian army, possibly even meeting up with Clara later on, who seems to have completely dropped off the face of the story at this point. Rosalina, I need to hear your opinion. I can't help you. I know you're not okay with this. Whatever you think you know about me is irrelevant. I told you I have nothing to say. I see. I just hope our squads don't drift apart over this. Can't speak for yours, but we're not going anywhere. Yeah. This conversation could have occurred before or after we speak to Ballastar. We could come back out and see her afterwards. Is he gonna? No, he clipped through. Okay. Now, the game could take into account the fact we haven't been in there yet, but it could also, that conversation could also be implying that it already knows what's going to go on in here. Let's go and face the music. The commander went out for a while.
Tell Ballastar that I'm here to see him.
I apologize. The commander is currently absent.
Do you know where he went?
No, sir.
He didn't say when he'd be returning.
He did not.
I see how it is.
I'm not entirely sure that you do. So, yeah, either Ballastar isn't seeing us. Let's actually blatantly go and see if we can see him standing inside. Okay, so he might not be there. But let's take a walk around camp. That buys us some time. Now, remember that Ballastar stayed behind after we defeated the monster tamer because he was interested in training monsters. Now, I'd imagine that if he had any success in that endeavour, we would have heard of it by now, what with the whole build-up to King Abramo's coronation and all that time. There's Chelsea. That can't bode well. These are dark days. I can tell all this has affected Ballastar, no matter how well he hides it. Don't be ridiculous. How the hell would you lasted this long with a heart that soft? Don't overthink the situation. We're in the middle of a war. Anyone who takes up arms against us is an enemy. Simple as that, really. Yeah, this isn't going to be pretty. I think I see a friendly face standing down there. Is that Leon? Can't tell from it. It's Leonard. Okay. Now, Ballastar is not going to take kindly to Leonard sneaking around camp like a spy, so we'll want to bear that in mind. Probably tell him to knock that on the head a bit for a while. Who's this? As if you didn't know, you ginger minger. Chelsea. Oh, bless my soul, Vice Commander Eden, the righteous, has graced me with his presence. Why are you talking like that? You've got a brain. Use it. Just what exactly do you think we're here for?
No.
We had options back there. Sure, win or lose. Last I checked, we're winning this war. I happen to think that's a good thing. I don't care what you think. Next time something like that happens, I'm putting a stop to it. Good luck. Just remember, I'll be there too. Yes, that's one of the things I'm worried about. Let's see if Elena has anything to say. Now, she does seem rather out of place among Ballastar's company. She seems to be the only one who's not an arrogant, self-centered, smug, nasty person.
Do you know where Ballastar went?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
I don't suppose he told you what the hell was going through his head at Hollisburg.
I had also planned to speak with him. But, well, it's hard to find the words.
Yeah.
At some point, Ballastar will have to answer to Isoro and King Abramo about this. But that point is not yet now. Oh, chat with Andrea, chat with Leon, chat with Robert. Oh, we got new objectives now. We should also see what Leonard's heard around the camp, because he may have picked up something. Also, I need to be looking at my precious leadership points and deciding how to spend them this camp, and who I would like to spend them with.
What is it?
Do you have a moment? If you're here to ask for my opinion, don't bother. What? It's about what happened at Hollisburg, correct? I was once Lady Marshall's protector. Now I am a soldier in this army. And you are the commander of this troop. It is up to you to lead as you see fit. Do you really have that much faith in me? No, he's denying responsibility. Of course. Stop making me repeat myself.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're saying. Well then, I guess we'll talk again soon.
Right.
What Leonard is saying is he will not take personal responsibility for what's going on here. He's not going to act. He's going to play it safe for a while. Also, he's saying he was Lady Marshall's protector. Now he's stepping down from that role, acting as just a normal soldier, not spying, not being on the lookout for people who may pose a threat to her. He's pretty much identified the main threat to her at this point. And it's not his place to do anything about it. I see Geo's over here. And obviously, this is a very somber camp, but I'm going to try to interact with everyone. See if everything I can find out, everything I can do before Ballastar comes back. Sergio. Eden. You got the same sour look on your face as me. Sir, please tell me you're opposed to what happened out there. I don't know what to say. This isn't the right time or place. Let's talk later. I understand. I'll be waiting. Now, Geo had written a letter back to, I believe it was Isoro, saying he had concerns about Ballastar previously, about his anger, about his rage, about his hatred for the Empire. I can see Geo trying to act as some kind of peace broker here. Or Geo's saying, we won't talk now, but when the time comes for action, I will talk to you and we're going to do something about this. I don't think that's the case. Now, the old command centre here has been all but abandoned. Where once Robert had his tactics tent, and the old prestige board. Oh, you know what? I should probably pop by that pretty soon, actually. To see what I can do. But I seem to be heading out this other way first, so let's stop a minute. There's this man Dane here to speak to. People out round this way, and I want to come loop round here. What I'll do is I'll go talk to that guy, check in with the people over here, then I'll loop back this way, pick up prestige quests, come down and round, check the training ground. So I'm going that way this time. And that is a half-assed beginning of a plan. it's worth checking if there's anything in there worth picking up. Because any extra topics of conversation I can find for use in camp activities would be good. I also need to be thinking heavily about who I would like to build rapport with. It would seem highly likely now that Marshall and Leonard are going to be leaving the camp soon. Ballastar won't let them stick around for long, and I should have probably tried to gain more rapport with them. I don't know if gaining even more rapport with them and pushing it now will help me in the future in any events, narrative events that may affect them. Marshall already acted as if we were like on the second stage there, all the way up and ready to start on the third one. Even though she had failed to let me get close and Leonard had not allowed me to get close enough to her to build up anywhere near that much rapport. So I would like to build some with her to echo that, and Eden saying that he'll stand by her whatever happens. Building up rapport with Leonard, he's often suggested that we don't like each other very much and that we don't have a good rapport score with him. Would building a rapport score with him help? Or is he a character that I just need to ignore and decide I'm never going to build it up with him? Now, this chap claimed to be a healer, which implies that obviously if we lose Marshall we're going to get a replacement healer here. And that could very well be the case. I don't know for certain.
Sir.
You wanted to see me?
Hello.
And who are you?
They call me Dane.
What's your business here?
I'm no warrior, but I do have some skill at healing. I've been working as a traveling cleric until now. Whatever help I could be, I thought it best to come offer.
More healers are always welcome, but treating soldiers and civilians is very different. You'll see some incredibly difficult things here, over and over.
I'm well aware. I want to help those in need as best I can.
I need to show you something. Follow me.
I should show Dane the graveyard. I shall show Dane the graveyard. Is he going to follow me, or is he just going to magically appear there when I get there? It would seem he's going to just magically appear there when I get there. But that does suit me heading in this direction. And also in this direction lies Salma the rare goods merchant, and I should blatantly buy every single gift she has. Now, what else was there I had to deal with? I'm not entirely sure. So there were two newcomers. Oh, Lavana's still in camp, and I should try to impress her. Dane might be a free hire. I might not need to give him any gifts to win his favour over. And I don't know how long Lavana will remain until she departs. And it would be good to have an extra pair of boots on the ground. There's someone over there. Armor looks like Karin. Yeah. Looks like Karin. Okay. Well then, Salma. We're seeing a lot of the black hair bug from the texture, from that one shade of brown that just really doesn't work in the shade and just goes completely black and textureless.
Anything catch your eye?
Yes. Everything in this category. History of the Empire, a magic scroll, some more lime cordial, some decorative flowers, and some portum honey liqueur. I might, in this camp, forego the use of some camp activities in favour of giving out gifts, because I'm aware that the gifts give a greater gain than, free gifts give a greater gain than one camp activity, and I may need to gain rapport rapidly with one or two characters. Now that leaves me with 1260. She has 5, 15, 20, 22, so 2,200 worth of goods that I may be interested in. Tempered shield. When blocking against an incoming attack or counter, damage is reduced by 60. Healing light grimoire. could very well go to Dane at this rate. Adamant plated armor is the same as the tempered shield, but it's adamant instead of tempered so that you can use both on the same person. These are all good items, and the resistant necklace might be worth giving to someone. Obviously, we don't have that kind of money right now,
dear.
and we may need it very well. So Robin is here, and he's got more horses. Let's see what he's up to after we go and pay our respects to the dead. Additionally, Lavanna should be down this way, so I can consider applying her with gifts to gain her favour. I imagine I'll probably do that on the way to the training ground. But now, it's not just the dead of the army who are here, but also the dead of Hullisburg lie in the town outside. We've probably left the town folk to bury their own dead. I suppose we're going to say to him, look, all these people who passed are no longer part of the army. Let's see what happens.
A cemetery.
Correct. This is where our soldiers are buried. A few more find their way here after every battle. Even with your level of skill, some will be beyond healing. There will always be some that can't be saved.
War is an insatiable beast, feeding on the masses. But what matters is how many remain when the war is through. If I can save even one soul from rotting away in a place like this, I'll have done my part.
It's going to be hard.
I've seen what life has to offer survivors of war. Some of them never fully heal. I can lessen that burden. If I can help, what right do I have not to?
Rapport increased with Dane. Is he now with us? Or not? I didn't quite... No, he's not. Which means we probably need to build it up. There we are. He's close. So we could probably push him too. I suppose we don't know what our chances of keeping our current chief wizard and healer are. And there's Lavanna right there. She's had some time to look over our camp. Let's ask her what she thinks of it. And also I imagine that, as with the last camp, I'm going to have far more opportunities for camp activities than leadership points to spend.
I've been expecting you.
And I could invite her for a meal. That may be well worth doing.
My vision is cloudy.
It feels as if the fog has yet to be lifted. I will require more time. You're welcome to stay as long as you need.
My humblest gratitude.
Thank you for your consideration. I'm not sure how long she's going to stay before she'll decide that we're wasting her time and she is no longer going to be of use to us. Are we going to get... Now, usually we get some... Actually, hey, we did get some money, didn't we? So, 1,500 now. Got a few lore entries I should probably read as well. Let's start with House Siegwolf, because we came across some of their literature. Though the emblem of the House of Siegwolf is a wolf, it might just as easily be a steer, the youngest of the great houses. The Siegwolves were once a family of cattle barons who ruled the open plains and secured their status as kingdom royalty through a series of strategic and costly land grabs. Unfortunately, they did so only one generation before the unification. After House Zerphiel ravaged their lands and annexed much of their holdings, House Siegwolf was left drowning in debt and mired in resentment. While the family lacks the strength to oppose the Empire on their own, it's rumoured that they keep secret storehouses for surplus crops, a precocious resource that would go a long way toward provisioning a rebel army. And then let's also read of House Bayardine while we're here as well. Bayardine seems more in keeping with the naming theme of this game so far. Prior to the unification, the kingdom of Florient was rich and prosperous, and House Bayardine was the wealthiest royal family in Artemesia. With a massive population and sizable taxes on imports, the Bayardines ruled with their purse strings and lived in relevant opulence even as neighbouring kingdoms starved. It was House Bayardine's wealth and infrastructure that would later form the bedrock of the empire, following the imperial unification. Greedy tax collectors became corrupt local officials. Florient's capital city fell under permanent occupation, and its once influential royal family was reduced to little more than a front for imperial rule. Today, the members of House Bayardine have very little meaningful influence. Their role is chiefly ceremonial, while Florient's prime minister governs the province in House Zerpiel's behalf, or on House Zerpiel's behalf. Robin is here. He seems to have something to do with horses. So I think the new stuff was... the three new things were Merchant Salma coming to pay us a visit, Lavana still being here, and Dane being here. I imagine we'll talk to Dane again soon, after we've picked up our prestige quests. But let's see what Robin wants here.
No.
To think something like this could happen. Cap, was there really nothing we could have done? I don't like it either. I did what I could. Look, I couldn't have done less, but I couldn't have done much more. Everything happened so fast. If I'd gone any further, things might have been even worse. I just can't believe this. The Benarian army? Who are we kidding? Overthrowing Rodrigo was one thing. This is something else. That's quite true. So, Robin is available for a meal, as is Karin. A meal would probably push him over the edge, but a gift would probably do so as well. Lila and Selena are here. I'll probably get a look at them on my way back from the prestige board. Let's see what's caught her interest here.
Hiya.
So literally nothing. Meal, gift, end
Thank
conversation.
you.
She always is so extremely grateful for just Eden paying her any attention at all. That feels very odd. And we have new posters on the wanted board. Wanted. Bryn Logos. Charges. Wanted for questioning concerning the death of his commanding officer. Not ideal. Wanted. Duke Valentine. Wanted for high treason against the crown, stealing artifacts of great value, and eloping with a noble lady upon a lord's white steed. Last seen heading west into the sunset. Yeah, he'll be in trouble if anyone ever finds him. Not that anyone necessarily will. Let's jog up here. Try and shake off this malaise, this feeling of dread that something rather bad is happening. Yeah. When Ballastar comes back, he may well decide that he needs to crack down on the camp and exert his authority even further. He hasn't necessarily gone off to be by himself. Do I think he will have met with Eris? I doubt it. I think his hatred for her is still genuine. And we should probably read up on Lady Eris, Lord Fontaine, and Lord Caspar soon. For now, though, we'll visit the Taskmaster, see what's on his board. And, hello, what's this? Hello, Father. I hope you're doing well. Nana says that the roads are full of scary monsters and bad guys now. That's why you had to leave, right? To punish the bad guys and make them say sorry. You're so big and strong, so you can teach them a lesson real quick. But next time, can't you take me with you? Nana will never let me, but I promise I'm all grown up now. I can even carry Grandpa's shield. Not for long, but still. And I'm not scared of any monsters because you're the strongest fighter in the world. Lately I've been really worried because Nana's cough has been getting worse. Maybe it's because we've been so busy at the shop. I don't know why everyone is buying boots and maps lately, but we've sold bunches. Where is everybody going? Nana says last time she heard from you, you were on your way to Hullisburg, so I guess you must be there now. I'm so jealous. I hope it's as pretty as all the stories say. Bring me some souvenirs, please. I would like a horse or a shield like yours so I can come fight too. And promise me next time you'll take me to Hullisburg with you. Please come home soon. I miss you a lot. But now that I'm grown up, I don't cry and wait for you. But I cried a little writing this letter. I hope that's okay. Love, 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 love. I hope that soldier was alive to read that letter. He may have perished in the attack on Hullisburg. I just don't know. He may have read the letter and discarded it. What right do I have to walk off with it? Clearing up the riffraff. We've received word from some locals that Imperial remnants from Hullisburg are ransacking nearby villages. Win an optional battle. I can do that. Organising the troops. Hold an appointment ceremony for your troops who have earned new roles. I don't know if anyone has yet, so I'm not sure if I can do that, but I can try. Create a training plan. Help is needed drawing up plans for the new training grounds. Relevant official officers should seek out the Master of Arms. I will indeed alter the training plans, so that's fairly easy. The appointment ceremony, I don't know. The optional battle, I'll definitely be able to do. I should go in here. I imagine these two will avoid speaking to me, say it's not their place to say. Eden. Yeah, he's not even going to talk to me. Will Elias have something to say now that he's away from the situation? Guillermo's here, so I imagine he's going to remain fairly tight-lipped. I don't have time to spare for you at the moment. Yeah. Valastar's people, on the whole, seem to have rallied together as a group and decided they're not going to risk any sort of involvement with me until Balastar has had a chance to come back and deal with me. They're aware that, they can sense that he will be seeing me as the enemy, as I already described. And that is not a good thing. I do want to just sneak around here in case there's anything worth looking into there, and there wasn't. In fact, I highly doubt there ever will be, but it's worth checking up on. So, talk to Andrea, Leon and Robert. I imagine I'll be able to do at least one of those here, and there's an optional battle that I'll get to dip my toes into later on. Robert is indeed here. Where is Lady Marshall? Has Balastar dragged her off somewhere? If he has, I imagine my companions will inform me.
Yeah?
Robert, you busy?
Not at the moment. I just needed to get my mind off of things.
That makes two of us. I can't get the image out of my head.
Me neither. Maybe we should try not to think about it. Move on. We are at war, after all. Maybe this is just what it's like from now on.
I really hope not.
Me too.
I don't think Robert's saying, let's never think about this. I think he's saying, don't let it get to you now. Think about it later, when it matters, when you have the chance to do something about it. But I could be reading too much into that.
Yeah?
Let's have a chat with him anyway before we go on. Robert, how's it going? Not good. Morale is definitely low around here. Understandably. How about you?
Let me think about it.
I'll carry it. For now, we should worry about what's going on. Can you really ask everyone to go back onto the battlefield after this, like nothing happened? No matter their skills, most of our people aren't soldiers by nature. Remember that. Right, keep tabs on the situation. Let me know if something else comes up. Understood. Be careful, Captain. What was that line? Once again, dear developers, let us, leave the lines on screen long enough for us to read them. We should worry about what's to come. Now, a lot of this could be laid at the feet of General Caspar. But first we defeated General Fontaine. One of Caspar's generals, Fontaine is a man of war and takes his position very seriously, both on and off the battlefield. Despite his fearsome reputation, he is known for clever strategies and shocking ambushes. Yeah, being told that Fontaine was better suited to head-on assaults, that must have rankled him somewhat. I don't think that was Caspar's way of saying that's all you're good for. It might have been Caspar's way of saying, well, your ambush was rubbish, so you're better off sticking to just normal, normal straight-up fights. Or it could be saying you're better off fighting enemies who make straight fights, and that Eris is better in the siege. And also his reasoning that Fontaine was exhausted from battle, was battle-weary, had just been defeated, low morale, and Eris was ready to go, was also a very valid point. What is it? Merton, I have something to ask you. This is a surprise. What can I help you with? You've known Ballastar for a while, right? Was something like that normal for him? Does it matter? Normal or not, you can't change the course of an arrow in mid-flight. Once you let it fly, it'll go where it goes. All you can do is accept it. And get ready for whatever comes next. So tell me, what do you think comes next? Sorry, Eden. I'm just another arrow in the quiver. You've got a pretty dark look in your eye right now. Why don't we sit down and have a drink? I'm sorry, but now's not a good time. From this point, we have an entirely new possibility for why Ballastar might accuse Eden of betraying General Isoro. And it might not involve anyone else at all. It could just be Ballastar's oppressive, tyrannical, and paranoid nature driving a wedge between them. If so, I hope that will happen over time rather than extremely rapidly. But I can't say for certain. I should still be thinking about who I want to build rapport with this camp, especially as... Right, if I want to recruit Lavana this camp, I'm probably not doing more than 2 camp activities. 3 camp activities and 1 gift isn't going to be enough, even if it's a meal and a gift to her. It might be worth inviting her for a meal, though, just so that I can then see how many gifts are going to be required. Probably like 3 or 4 or something ridiculous. I'll see the merchants here. I imagine they won't have anything special, but I'll check, just in case. Bagri Sin is back at the camp.
How may I
Assisting
assist
the
you?
cook. Anything new? Nothing new. He says he has top
My
quality,
humblest gratitude.
top of the range gear. I'll believe it when I see it. And Merchant Porter.
Welcome back.
Consumables.
Many thanks.
We should check up on consumables, because we have a lot. We should start distributing some of these medium recovery potions to our warrior types who take larger amounts of damage. Right, can I get a small? I can. And a small magic elixir as well. Great. Let's go small strength, small recovery. Magic recovery, yeah, okay. For now, that's okay. Small recovery, let's not waste all our medium recovery already. Alright. And Sarah, the camp cook, is no longer at her station. I see Francisco over there, and that named soldier doesn't seem to be here. Again, Selena and her sister, Lena. Oh, Lena and Selena, that's terrible, isn't it? Right, yeah, okay. Makes you wonder if they were twins. They're not. One's older, one's younger. Gilbert's here. I may be able to invite them both for a meal.
How's it going?
How are you doing? I don't even know where to start. Those people, their town, that could have been Lynetta. Brother, tell me you're not okay with this. Of course I'm not. Then what are we going to do about it? That, I don't have an answer to yet. I just need time to think. I may not know much, but I know this. What happened out there? There's no thinking our way around that. It's a very fair point.
Need something?
Now, at times it has sounded as if Gilbert is our narrator, but I'm not certain that he is. I wish you wouldn't drink so much. It's not good for a man of your age. Days like today, I'd rather be drunk than healthy, for all the good it does. Yup, that's about right. Now, Gilbert, look, we can definitely boost Francisco's rapport. We can get Francisco, Leon, and Robert all up to the next tier with probably a single gift each. That'd be 15. If we have a meal with someone, that would be 25 or 30, depending on if the meal is with one of them. Then we could have a meal with Lavana, 45. No, we'll have to... I think we'll have to have a meal with her first. And then gifts. Right, let's see if they even talk to me at all. Selena. Let me guess. Not in the mood to talk? I'm afraid not. Yeah. It's almost as if they're on orders from Ballastar not to talk to Eden. But I don't think that's the case. I think they've made that decision as a group. Tightening ranks. I'm not in the mood to talk right now. Yeah. And you standing there is probably why your sister's not in the mood to talk to me either. Could also look at boosting Robin's mood. Now, I do need to change the training plan. So I should at least do that. How are we looking here?
I've been expecting you.
Oh, that's a long way. let's invite her to a meal. Risky, but it feels worth it. Strange how often fate is decided over a meal. The camp hometown life. I think this topic will intrigue her slightly more. But it's bland and generic. This is asking about her past, something she might not want to talk about, or she could be interested, but we're interested. Let's go for it. I just realised we've never discussed where you're from. My people never settled long in one place. Being able to read the future made us a frequent target of attack. So you've been travelling ever since you were a child?
I think not.
I suppose so. I don't know where exactly I was born, so there is no one place I call home. No wonder you're always so unbothered. You said you call Luneta your hometown. What is it like?
Ah.
It's a poor town. People do what they can to survive, but everyone has a big heart. If it wasn't for the local lord, I probably would have stayed there as a mercenary forever. The way you speak of the place, I can tell it has a substantial role in your destiny. I would like to venture there with you someday, I think.
Sure.
I think I'd like that. A good meal soothes the aura. So that's boosted her
I've
to
been
around the
expecting
3/4 mark, so she's at the point where a few gifts
My
may
humblest
sway her to join
gratitude.
us. But we also actually... Dane is a little bit less than Robin. I don't think we'll get Dane to join us this camp. We could end up having to do an entire battle without a healer. I'm not sure how much I want to recruit her just yet. Although Gilbert did say recruit her, and he was very emphatic on the matter. So I probably should. He believes she has promise, and that she's quite capable. And he wants to know, he probably would be interested in studying her different way of doing magic. And I have plenty of gifts to hand out. Wow, there's like nothing on the map here at all. That is most unusual. Ah, there we go. Finally. So that's Gabriel.
Yes?
No gifts.
I give you my deepest gratitude.
Well, no training, just gifts. So I'm going to loop round and see who else is here. So literally got the Master of Arms. We got, I think that's Godfrey, right? Or the other one. Let's sort out the training plan a bit. Right. Archery and... Well, we'll change that then, as she's maxed out leather. So Dahlia, bow, and some cloth armor, just in case she wants to try out a bit of magic stuff. Plate and bow, okay, yep. Gabriel is good. Leonard, axe and yep, and yep. Okay, I can go with that for now. So that should be that prestige task taken care of. I'm not sure I'll be able to hold an awards ceremony, but we'll see. Godfrey won't even talk to us. He just looks straight through us. That looks like Hector over there, and I think I see Dahlia behind him. I imagine any conversation with Hector at this point will not be a good one. Because he did question the order, showed his heart on his sleeve a bit, and he's warned us about Ballastar before. Hector,
No.
I'm not in the mood. Piss off. Yeah. We can still give him gifts. Why would we want to raise rapport with Hector? I don't believe we can hire him, but raising rapport with him could help us at some point in the story.
Well, look who it is.
She's not here to make friends. We don't need to work on
Much
her
obliged.
rapport at this point. So let's get back out of here. The training grounds holds very little for us this day, unless we want to give Gabriel a gift. He's already at the first level because he had to be hired. So, arguably, Lavanna and Dane are priorities, as are Leonard and... Oh, hey. There's someone there, it's Leon. And Marshall. They're probably higher priorities as they've been around longer, but I should be thinking if I want to try and get... Marshall is almost never available for camp activities. So she's a hard push, a big investment.
I didn't like the bastard from the start.
Leon.
Those people didn't do anything to deserve that. They were just innocent civilians scared for their lives. How could someone be so cruel? Francisco was pissed. He just stormed off a second ago. Said he needed to go blow off some steam. What do you think about all this? You think you can trust Ballastar after this?
Probably
I don't know.
not.
For now, we're stuck on the same side.
This damn war. Even living in the streets, I never felt as dirty as I do right
now. Arguably, at this point, I should be training Leon with a sword now for the next few missions, right? Because of his assassin affinity. So maybe I should set him to train sword and some other kind of armor, a bit of plate armor training maybe. And be training Francisco with axes. Good point. But this is war. It's ugly, it's not pretty, it's horrible, and atrocities of war are committed, apparently by Ballastar. Now, is it possible Ballastar will have a touch of conscience? It's possible, but if he does, he's likely to internalize it and try to externalize and shift blame. Say it was all the Imperials made me do this. I see Sarah is here with her sister. She's probably too distraught to cook right now. But let's see how she's doing.
Hello.
I should probably give her a gift once in a while as well. Sarah, everything all right? Eden, I heard the news. They're saying it was a massacre. It was out of my control. I did everything I could to stop them. I know you did. You and me, we're both a mess, aren't we? Do I come off that way? You cover it well, but there's struggle going on inside of you. Let's just say I'm familiar. So where do we go from here? There's no easy answer to that question. But there is one silver lining. Which is... recognize that you have the power to choose. Lucky me. Responsibility and all.
Hello.
I think I will see if I can spare her a
I
gift.
can't thank you enough. Yeah?
Here we go.
How are you doing, Andrea?
How do you think?
You look pale.
What happened out there? That was hard. I guess they're all the same in the end. Powerful people trampling the weak. Tell me something, Eden. Do you think what happened was right?
No. I can't condone it. Whatever else happens, I know that much for sure.
Okay, hearing you say that makes me feel a little better.
Now, that actually strikes me as... Hello?
Yeah?
Another conversation.
Thanks.
I think I'll come back for that. That actually strikes me as remarkably similar to when all of Eden's company were warning him off involvement with Clara. We've got a good feeling now for how our company feels about this, and to be fair, in most cases it was fairly predictable. We haven't come across Lady Marshall yet, and we should probably go back to the what's it? Hello, Yellow Soldier. To the aide de camp. To now, what are you doing here, sir? Sir? I saw the glitter of sparkles. I see Lady Marshall in her tent. Is the soldier there to protect her? Or to keep her prisoner? I imagine she feels both ways. Noble Pursuits, Le Royal Women's Society. And since the introduction of easily available fabric, needlework has become a pleasurable pastime for high-born ladies everywhere. The art of embroidery takes this one step further, allowing for true style and taste. In this chapter, we will instruct you on how to knit a fetching spring cap, then embroider it with a floral brocade. You will need 2 skeins of wool, one in emerald, one in sunflower. To begin, cast on 100 stitches with the emerald wool, then knit and purl alternatively for 4 rows. Knit 1 row of the sunflower wool, bring the next forward, and take 2 together to the end. Knit and purl the emerald wool alternatively for 4 more rows, then continue in this fashion. In the next chapter, we'll show you how to join the ends with a special stitch that adds style and flair. Marshall, you won't believe what I've discovered at the ministry. That weasel is trying to play God. A few things to look into, yet we'll share more soon. Sorry for defacing your book. Love always, Adrian. A secret message. A secretive society where no one can trust anyone. No wonder she hasn't let us grow close.
Yes?
What are you up to, Marshall?
I'm picking out a book. There's nothing like a good book to settle frayed nerves.
Sounds like a good hobby.
Want to help me choose?
Pick any of these?
Yes. I'll leave it to you.
Alright, let's take a look here.
Do we get to choose? Oh, okay. Talk to Marshall after choosing a book. Can I look at them first? I want this one. Mercenaries of Portum. Kingdom of Storms. Artemesian Epic. It's a history book. I don't know much about stuff, but it seems... Right. Now let's read them. What did you think I was going to do, eh? That hasn't been put into action yet. A history of the continent as recorded by an Ariston priest. She is enjoying her role as a priest. I'm not allowed to read them? Okay. A tragedy about a king who made all the wrong choices, eventually leading to his downfall. Yeah, I can see why she'd find that appropriate reading at this point in time. A comedy about the mercenaries of Portum who punished evil and corrupt merchants. Now, a comedy... The definition of a comedy is not actually that it's funny, but that it has a happy ending. But, well, earlier, much earlier. Actually, we're going back before that, it's even... But yeah, I have an understanding now of what these are.
Yes.
That would be a rather heavy-handed way of saying, oh look, isn't this rather relevant? The mercenaries, it might cheer her up a bit, and she might think of them as being inept, joking. The Artemesian epic history will help take her mind off things, I think. But am I trying to be insightful here? Or helpful? I don't think this is the right call. I think this is too obvious. I may blow it totally, but here we go.
What about this one?
Oh, that one's historical. The Chronicles of Artemesia, as told by an Aristan priest. They say history holds the key to the problems of the present. If only.
Am I
You
going to
already
offer
know
all
this one?
three?
Yes, I've read all of the books here. Actually, I was picking out a book for Leonard.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Leonard will read anything you give him, cover to cover.
Do you happen to know where he is? I should go give this to him.
am I going to go give it to
I
him
think
for
I
her?
saw him somewhere north of here. I'm not really doing anything. Want me to drop it off?
That would be lovely. Thank you, Eden.
That was a little stilted, almost as if she's passing along a secret message to Leonard, and whichever book we take will be secret orders for him. He will know based on the title and the contents of the book. And that
Yes.
I think we're going to click this button here before we depart. You look unwell. You reckon? I've just witnessed innocent people being slaughtered. I've never felt so helpless. I just can't understand why Battlestar would resort to that. Somehow he feels so distant now. I think
Yes.
she needs a gift. And I think we have some rare gifts here. Decorative flowers. She's more into information and knowledge. I'll give her one of these books of the history of the Empire, because she likes administration.
You have my thanks.
Okay, that looked like more than a small increase, so maybe that's a good thing. Let's hope I don't regret it. Now let's try to hold this appointment ceremony and see if it gets us anywhere. I'm not sure if anyone's gained any classes since the last one, but let's find out. I can't hold an advancement ceremony? Because no one has... Wow, okay. That answers that then, I suppose. So that is a task which will have to continue until the next camp. Should I have not held an advanced... No, because last time I had to as well. Does this mean I'm going to automatically fail this one? Or does it mean that it will still be under progress and there'll be 3 others available next time, or only 2? I just don't know.
What is it?
Here. I would say try not to read too much into this, but that may be the exact intent.
Here, take this.
What's the occasion? I don't have time for such frivolities.
She'll be disappointed to hear that.
She?
Marshall asked me to deliver this to you. She said there's nothing like a good book to soothe the nerves.
Lady Marshall did?
Well, I helped pick the book.
Lady Marshall is so considerate, always looking out for the well-being of others. I suppose I've made her worry about me again. Very well. I shall read it and give a prompt report.
Your discipline is an inspiration to us all.
Thank you for delivering this.
Don't worry about it.
And a rapport boost from Marshall. That was a saddle blanket. And with Leonard. Great. And we know that the saddle blanket goes down very well with Robin. So the pickaxe and axe is good for Robin. The writing books for Marshall, and probably for Lavana as well. Leather handicraft. Well, we know Leon likes leather work. We haven't worked out what's good for... Training spear is good for Karin and Francisco. We don't know about this foodie stuff. Food is good for Francisco, right? And probably some other people as well. I think I'm going to go give the flowers to Robert. And then we'll go see what Robin's doing with all those horses. I may just be giving 6 gifts this camp. Now the flowers are a rare gift, so they're going to give a bigger boost anyway. So I shouldn't read too much into him liking this type of gift just yet. But let's try this. I'm not sure why. I think a bouquet of decorative flowers grown in lampicots. Aside from their obvious beauty, certain flowers hold symbolic and religious significance. Okay, maybe hold off. Portum honey liqueur. I mean, that's again for the eaters and drinkers. Gilbert didn't seem to like the lime cordial very much. So... maybe a training spear for him. Oh, aged grimoire liver. You know what, let's try this. He might like this kind of item. No, I'll stick with this.
Thank you.
So that was a big increase gain, but it was a high tier gift item, so it may have just been... oh, yellow.
Yeah?
Okay, there's a yellow thing now.
Thank you.
Let's go see what Robin wants to do with the horses. Oh! Religious significance. And Dane is a priest. So I should have probably given him the flowers. Oh well. I'll remember that for the future. Although... that was a hint just for that gift, not that gift category, so it might not be a gift category he's particularly fond on. Ah! I think I see how this may be going now. She likes animals, so she might like the horse blanket, so is it worth trying to find out other people who might like the same category of item? Oh, to think something like this could happen. Have I had this conversation already? Cat, was there really no... Yeah, we've had this one already. Okay. Did what I could. Same as before.
No.
Yeah. Let's just talk about the horses instead.
Hi there. Robin, what are you doing?
Cap, I couldn't sit around doing nothing. I thought taking care of the horses might make me feel better.
Makes sense. But where'd you get all these horses?
Everything happened.
Has he been
right
stealing
there.
horses?
I couldn't watch. So I stepped outside and found these guys. And they just lost their owners. I still had some of that sugar you gave me, and, well, here we are.
A single horse is one thing, but this might be a lot to manage.
Hey, now that you mention it, what do you think about building some stables?
That way we'd have somewhere to keep them safe and care for them properly. We could use some cavalry. Yeah, that's a good idea. And since it was your good idea, I expect you to assume responsibility. Leave it to me.
Start shoveling horse shit, Robin. You got yourself a job, and now with that money, I think we need to pay another visit to the rare goods vendor.
Anything catch your eye?
Let's see. How about this, and we still don't have enough for that, but hopefully that'll be okay. We may come back
You're
for that
much
very
too
soon.
kind, dear.
Some beautiful armor, shield, and what was it? Oh, I'll find it soon enough. Leave camp. Oh, that's not a good omen at all. That looks like trouble. Alright.
I've been expecting you.
Let's ply her with gifts. How about this magical scroll? A gift category that Gilbert should also be interested in. That wasn't a massive gain, interestingly enough.
I've been expecting you.
And then we can give her this copy of the History of the Empire.
My humblest gratitude.
That was a much larger gain. So she's more interested in the same sort of documents Marshall likes than the magical ones. Although Marshall seemed to like the magical ones earlier.
I've been expecting you.
Lavana, are you ready to join us yet?
Agreed.
Yes, the appointed hour has arrived. I place my fate in your hands.
Well...
No pressure or anything. Anyway, welcome to our force. Common Dark Grimoire. So she... That's the female wizard outfit then. What spells does she have prepared? Dark Arrow, Somnolence, Shadow Burst, and Dark Grasp. If we give her that new Dark Grimoire, so Dark Arrow, Somnolence. What else did she have? Shadow Burst and Dark Grasp. And I may very well be looking to change those. Right, she is level 14. I wonder if her level would scale with the time when we hire her, or if hiring her earlier is better than hiring her later. She could act as an aide to Gilbert, or she could go out into the battlefield on her own and have someone else assist her. We probably have a lawbook entry on her now. An Aryan mystically minded individual, Lavana believes strongly in fate and that she has an important role to play in the warp and weft of history. Born with low vision, her studies of the arcane arts required years of patient, self-directed labour, as well as extensive modification of her grimoires to allow for touch reading. As a result, she has a vast and comprehensive knowledge of magic that makes her a wise advisor and a fearsome foe. It's said that before every battle she applies a smoky eyeshadow of her own concoction with tremendous ritual. Warp and weft. It's to do with weaving. The warp is the warp's the up and down, and the weft is the back and forth, right? When you throw the shuttle back and forth across the loom. Or it's the other way around, but I'm pretty sure I was correct there. This outfit is odd. If we take her back to Commoner, that's not her Commoner outfit. That's the same as Andrea was wearing. So I'm not sure when she would ever appear wearing those garments. New conversation. We can probably save that for our next camp. We've done quite a bit here already. New conversation here. I think I might have had that one. New conversation, which
I've been expecting
is
you.
not available
My
yet,
humblest
although the bears
gratitude.
did become available. Right, I have 15 leadership points. I could spend that giving gifts to Leonard and Marshall. I could have a meal with Francisco or Gilbert. I probably should get on somewhat better terms with Gilbert. Marshall is so very close to going over the line. I think that's what I want to do. How am I doing for gifts? I could give her the Aged Grimoire. Let's try that. It's a bit of a way.
Yes.
I'm going to give you this, lady, and I hope you like it, because if I have to give you two things, it's going to get bloody expensive. That's rare, though, so it's a bigger boost. And she might like food. She does like her comforts. Let's do it. Excellent. I mean, doesn't touch the
Yes.
second circle.
You have my thanks.
It gets us a new conversation with her. And that may be all we get for now. Yeah. Let's try push Francisco and Robin over the edge as well then. Do I still have that horse blanket? I do. Let's do that then. So, less oh, yeah. But then, of course, I won't have these gifts next camp. So it would have been nice to carry some of these into the next camp, and indeed so I shall. But I think multiple small gains has served me better here than significant singular ones. Hey, Robin, about this.
Aw, thanks.
That was a big boost. Hasn't quite pushed him over the line, but really close. And we know Francisco likes his food and drink. We know Gilbert likes his drink, but is not so fussed about his food. So,
How's it going?
let's try giving you this lime cordial. You never know.
Thanks.
That seems to have been a decent boost.
How's it going?
And a
Thanks.
yellow chat. I think I should save some of those for the next camp. But I'll have one now, while I still got the chance, because otherwise I may lose it forever. And I have no idea how these conversations are going to play out, pretty much. I imagine they will be steps in the... Oh, yeah, you. How are you doing? How much?
Sir,
Over halfway. So that's good.
this'll go a long way.
We can give him something in the next camp. Hopefully, he'll be in a place where we can take, like, have a meal with him or something. I don't think discussing military strategy would be good. Training area he might be in, but I doubt he'll go there straight away. Right.
Yes.
Let's see where this leads.
Whoa.
Is something wrong? No, it's nothing. Did you prick her finger? Were you sewing?
Yes.
Trying to. Anyway, I tore a stitch somehow and thought, surely it can't be that difficult. That noise you heard was me pricking my finger. I suppose my needlework is rustier than I thought. Wow, we finally found something you're not good at. I'm amazed. I'd have thought something like that would be right up your alley. Or wait, do nobles not learn to sew? Oh, we do. It's expected, in fact, embroidery especially. But I always had other responsibilities, eldest child and all that. Ah, I see.
It's worth considering.
It really is quite tricky, isn't it? I can't remember the last time I'd much rather deal with paperwork. You're about the only person I've ever met who feels that way. Here, let me take a stab. I have a feeling I might be a little more experienced in this department. What, this? Of course. Any mercenary worth his salt knows his way around a needle and thread. Oh, this I have to see.
You have my thanks.
God, you weren't kidding. You really are good at this.
All right.
Mercenaries works tough on clothes. Nothing wears out a shirt like something trying to stab you. I'm not as good as Leon, but I make do. Thank you for your help. Clearly I've got a long way to go. Perhaps when we have more time you could give me a few points. Now I've heard everything. I'd be happy to. Anytime. Hey, they're bonding. That was great. A little bit of experience drawing people together. That's good. I think for now... I might... No, not even remotely close. I have an optional battle to take part in for starters. Right, prestige quests. Right, I want to turn these in. Win an optional battle. Complete training plan. I did, didn't I? It wasn't a... That is dodgy. Right. Let me see the training plan. There we go. It's all set up. I would like to... Will that complete in the next camp? I think it'll complete in the next camp. Who is close to unlocking a class? That's a very odd way to grip her book. That's better. Right. Long way to 6th. No unlocks here. None here. We get her back on spear. Then we've got her unlocking a class. Actually, she can do it in the optional battle. She's not even on the training plan. Right. So she's definitely coming into the optional fight. Which should unlock a class, which should let us hold an advancement ceremony. So I shouldn't need to look too closely at anyone else. Right. I suppose I've got an optional battle to deal with, but I should probably do that in the very next episode, because this one has gone on for quite long enough. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and I do look forward to seeing you all in the very next one, but I'm going to leave this one for here. I'll say bye-bye for now, everyone, and cheerio! See you all next time.